It didn't happen unless it was caught on camera. We first said this for events that were just crazy and no one would believe you unless you showed them proof. But nowadays, did you really go to Europe if you don't have an Instagram highlight dedicated to it? Did you really go out on a run with friends if it isn't on your story? What is the point of things happening in our lives if others don't know about it? This kind of mentality has drastically changed how we interact with, honestly, everything. If we optimize what we do in our lives for the sake of others, then many things that used to be a private experience now become a public performance. And this is especially true when it comes to traveling. Traveling for the gram is not something only Chinese people do, but I do want to show you how traveling in China has morphed into an entirely different beast. It's kind of giving that one Taobao model who struck 50 poses in 1 minute. But instead of speed running poses, we're speed running every restaurant, every iconic spot, every activity, all at once. I hope you're sitting nice and comfortable right now because if you couldn't tell, we're about to go on an exhausting trip together. In China, traveling for the gram is called daka tourism. The term daka originated from office workers punching in and out of work, and now it's used to describe tourists who arrive at iconic sites, take the selfie, and then get out of there. Now, we're all probably guilty of doing this at some point, so I'm not saying daka is a bad thing, but sometimes people can get a little carried away with daka traveling. That's when you get special forces itineraries, another Chinese term used to describe plans where you pack as much as you can in as little time as possible. This level of insanity is better shown than explained. So let's watch this Chinese blogger go on a special forces trip as she explores a city in China called Nanjing. Okay, so we're starting off strong. 7:06, she's at Confucius Temple and she's just going around trying food and everything. At 8:03, she decides to jet, so she's on the metro. 9:48, she's at the next destination, which is Xinjiekou, and she's saying this is the biggest metro station. Oh my god, and she's dipped. 12:30, she's eating. Okay, yeah, me too. And then she's going to the next point. This is an art gallery. And then 2:19, she's at a museum, and then she's on the way to the next place, Presidential Palace at 3:15, on her way again, and she's arrived at a memorial, next place, which is another temple, and it's 5:04 now, and then she's on the bus, and she's low-key dead, understandable, and then she's running to another bus station for the next place, at another temple, it's 6:30 now, and she's having a crash out, valid. Then she's arrived at a wall, talking about the moon, having another mental breakdown, and she's like, oh my god, it's so tiring doing this, but she's not done yet, because she's going off to the next place, and this is Langwendong, I don't know what's called in English, sorry, but it's really pretty. It's like 8:30. Okay, so now she's like walking around, and then she's off to the next place, which is Haidilao, which is hot pot, and it's like 11:30. Now 1:30, she's finished eating, and she's not done yet. 2:42 a.m. she's gone off to a hike to see the sunrise. It's 3 a.m. right now, and she's making her way up. I don't know how this girl still has the energy to do it. Oh my gosh, another breakdown, understandable. And finally, it's 5:40. The sun come up, and she's rushing up the steps, and that's the end of her journey. She is crazy, but she's my type of crazy. I usually hate planning, but on holidays, sometimes you just have to hit 7 spots and map out your day in 10-minute increments. Other than the fact that we're both 25 years old and possibly going through a quarter-life crisis, are there any other reasons why people might voluntarily subject themselves to torture in the form of jam-packed plans? It turns out there are a few. First, you have practical ones. Lack of annual leave or working with a tighter budget incentivizes people to min-max or fit as much as they can in a short period of time, so they feel like they're making the most out of their trip. In China, work-life balance is horrible, and that's putting it lightly. So when Chinese youth finally have a holiday, they're going hard. And when it comes to travel budget, I mean, if I was a millionaire, I'd also say things like, of course babe, let's go back to the hotel and take a nap after lunch. But I'm not. So if I'm in Italy right now, I'm probably not coming back for a couple of years, which means we're seeing everything, doing everything, and eating everything. The hotel is not where we relax. The hotel is where we pass out. Now, I know I'm more on the extreme side when I travel, so let's dial it back a bit. You might not plan your holidays like me, but most likely you've still dakaed before. Arrived at a nice building or landmark, said it was cool, took a picture, and then moved on. Where Chinese people differ in daka though is that after they take these pictures, there's a very strong incentive to then post these photos on their social media. It's such a big thing that sometimes the priorities get switched around. Traveling so you can get nice pictures for your social media. As a result, in China, many travel guides feature the word 出片, which means photogenic, to try and get more tourists to come to their sites. Tourists themselves will also share their own tips like go to this spot in the morning for better lighting, or taking a photo in this place will look great with a light colored outfit. What ends up happening is you'll go to a place and you'll find girls wearing the exact same outfit. But having prescribed uniforms for a place isn't even the craziest part, because to get that perfect Instagram worthy shot, some travelers go even further, lining up for hours in this instance to get pictures with a wall. This is a wall in Chengdu, and the text literally just says Chengdu, and people are willing to stand under 35-degree heat or 95-degree Fahrenheit in freedom units for like an hour just to get a picture with a wall. This wall definitely attracts its crowds, but it's still at a manageable level. Sometimes the daka or check-in spots are so famous that there needs to be official rangers who keep time on how long each tourist can take in front of it as they take their photos. There's a clip of this one tourist who went super viral in China, and it basically shows this woman striking a bunch of poses in the 30 seconds she has before the next person comes in. Clearly, traveling in China has become very camera orientated. There's literally nothing to see or do at the Chengdu Wall. It's a wall, but people will still line up for it just for the gram. Another example of this shift in priorities can be seen with this one cafe, advertising its coffee saying, "Our coffees may not taste good, but they definitely look good." Crazy concept. I mean, I do the thing where camera eats first. You know, we all take a quick pic of the food and then we dig in, but I'm still the one eating at the end. What's the point of me ordering food that doesn't taste good? I think I would do this to someone I hate. Just make them the most mouth-watering, delicious looking food and have it taste like the rubber sole of a boot. This is where things are heading though, because young people are prioritizing what will look good online more than the real lived experience. Which leads me to wondering why? What is driving this culture? Why does looking good matter more than things actually being good? And what does this reveal about us? Any form of social media existed, while you were out of the country traveling, you were truly gone. None of your friends knew where you were, and when you returned, that's when you gave everyone updates on what you saw and what you did. Nowadays, however, your friends can watch you in real time as you make your way across different cities, almost like they're living these moments with you. And this change, facilitated by social media, has completely transformed how we experience traveling. Back then, traveling was a private experience between the place we're in and ourselves. But now traveling involves us, the place, and a third party, the audience that we're showing this experience to. Now, why are we posting all of this? We can't blame social media. It merely provided us with a platform to share updates. So to understand this change, we really need to look deeper into human psychology or human desire. Sounds a bit deep, but really the main driver here is our desire to be recognized or validated. And this desire applies to nearly anything anyone does. As a baby, we cry to get the attention of our parents. As we grow up, we fulfill this need to be validated in different ways. For many people, posting on social media fulfills this need for validation through gaining social recognition. I'm guilty of it. Most of us probably are. There's been a bunch of research that shows how receiving positive feedback on social media through likes, comments, and interactions boosts one's self-esteem and elevates one's perceived social status. This then becomes a self-reinforcing loop. You want to post more because it feels good to see people giving you little hearts. So the next time something Insta-worthy happens, you recognize the opportunity, you capture it, and you post it. Okay, this loop is what triggers us to take action and post, but there's also some really interesting psychology behind what we choose to share with others. When we post pictures of ourselves on social media, we're crafting this visual narrative that builds into our identity. We very consciously select pictures of ourselves or of things that we think represents us best. Or maybe we just want other people to think this is what represents us best. Regardless, the pictures we post tags us as belonging to some groups and being distinct from others. Let's just use me as an example. I have a picture of a cat on my feed. Immediately, this brands me as a cat person rather than a dog person. And the other pictures I have on my feed are me traveling. Yes, this video on performative traveling is really just a play about me. I went to New Zealand 3 years ago, and what you can't tell from this picture is me freaking out earlier that day because I thought I lost my SIM card. Yes, I used to use physical SIM cards because because I like the thought of being anxious every few seconds over whether my home SIM was still in the pocket I put it in. The physical SIM card I bought for that trip was also horrible. The connection constantly died on me, and I guess I was testing the limits of my anxiety, because what else can spike it more than being in a foreign country with absolutely no reception? This is when I realized I had free will, and I should use a SIM that I would never lose and would also never lose me. That's why I'm choosing Nomad eSIM. Not only does it have seamless coverage in over 200 destinations, it's also super easy to set up. You pick a plan, install the eSIM, and simply activate to go, and you never have to worry about losing your original SIM card. For how premium it is, Nomad is actually affordable. Prices start as low as $1.10 per gigabyte with no hidden fees, which makes it cheaper compared to most traditional roaming plans. And they offer a whole variety of data options to suit every budget and every trip duration. Nomad also offers a free 1 gigabyte trial over 3 days, which I never see anyone else doing. So if you're going on a trip, download the Nomad eSIM app now and use my promo code for 20% off. You'll have a great trip, your anxiety will thank you for making smart choices, and I will thank Nomad for not only being such a reliable eSIM service, but also for sponsoring this video. Thank you, Nomad. Regardless of whether you post yourself on holiday or show pictures of cats, the way we dress, the places we go, the things we do, all of this curation builds social and cultural capital. Hopping on the latest trends, for example, will make us seem cool because we have what everyone else wants. Doing or accomplishing something others find impressive increases admiration or social status. We've all heard how social media is a place where everyone flexes their highlights, and it's like that for a reason. Social media is a place where, put simply, many of us are able to find that validation we so very much crave. For some of us, getting a like on our story from our friends is enough dopamine, but for others, perhaps we want a little more recognition, like building a larger audience through the content that is posted. I bring this up because, again, before social media existed, the only famous people you heard of probably were famous because they were exceptionally talented or they contributed something incredible to society. Nowadays, someone could go into a Japanese 7-Eleven, eat onigiri, and go viral. This is not a bad thing, mainly because I watch a lot of convenience store vlogs, but this does show how social media is a setting that offers digital equality, an environment where you don't have to be exceptional to gain recognition or admiration, a place where even our wildest ambitions for validation can be met. And the simplest way to achieve this is if we exchange our real life experiences for online views. Think about it, what is easier, training 20 years to be a classical musician and gaining virality with an insane lids cover, or sharing a trauma dump to complete strangers by starting your story with "put a finger down"? The fact that anyone can go viral as long as they post incentivizes people to create content. And if there's strong demand for this content, and if what you post is actually good, there's a high chance you'll pop off. To summarize, we as humans crave recognition, and not only has social media provided us with this, it has made it easier than ever for us to go viral. Now it makes sense why we like posting. Looking at traveling more specifically though, I'm not saying we only traveled because we want to show off to others. We know people enjoy traveling and sharing about their experiences afterwards because emails, postcards, and letters exist, and depending on how far back we go, this could be in the form of rock art or through stories passed out generations or as poems. So there is an internal need within us to want to share with others the stories and memories we've made on our trip. But with social media, there is also an external element to it that is about cultivating our identity, building up social capital, and gaining validation through it. Social media definitely adds a performative element to traveling, and as I hinted at the start, China's daka culture is performative traveling to the max, because entire tourist destinations are now being planned with this form of traveling in mind. That's right, instead of taking pictures of places are being built for pictures. And Chinese people are very split on this change. Before we travel now, most of us probably do research on where we're going. What should we do? Where should we stay? How long do we need in each city? And there's so much information at our fingertips. Regardless of how we obtain our information, most of us will be excited at the thought of visiting all these places that we've already bookmarked. And so begins the ecosystem. People are attracted or incentivized to go to specific places, a good sightseeing spot, or maybe a must-visit restaurant, because others hype it up. They then physically go there and check it out. And then they contribute to the myth by adding their review or a photo of themselves at the place. And so, an internet famous tourist destination or a new daka spot is born. And because of FOMO, fear of missing out, more and more people will be attracted to go to that spot. If you're a city planner and you want tourists to come to your city and spend all their tourist money, you'd be looking at what sort of places they're most interested in. And so creates the phenomenon of Wanghong urbanism, or urban places built for online clout. The best example here is Chongqing, which I'm sure you guys have seen all over your feed for being China's cyberpunk city. One of the most iconic spots in Chongqing is Hongyadong, which is also like Daka Central. You cannot walk down the road outside Hongyadong at night without seeing a long line of photographers shoving their cameras in your face, trying to sell you the best pictures you'll ever have taken in your life. Honestly, I can kind of believe that claim because Hongyadong is just breathtaking at night, and its beauty is well appreciated. Shorts on Chinese social media featuring Hongyadong has been watched over 612 million times. As a result of its popularity, new escalators have been added to the site, and the city has added even more neon lights to the building. Security guards are said to have secondary jobs of being informal influencer conductors, giving advice to tourists on how to best pose for their selfies. Or take a look at Liziba Station. This is another famous daka spot in Chongqing, and it's famous because the station goes through an apartment building. This spot blew up in 2017 for its unusual architecture, and it's been getting a steady stream of tourists since. Once the Chongqing government caught wind of Liziba's rising popularity, the station got remodeled to look better, but it didn't stop there. In 2021, the city government announced that Hualongqiao Station, the highest station in the world, would intentionally recreate the vibe of Liziba, where a train passes through a building. Honestly, so far I'm still with these projects, but there are instances where it starts feeling a bit silly. For example, this street sign that says 我在南京很想你, or I miss you a lot in Nanjing. And when I saw the street sign, I had to take a picture of it because I thought it was so sweet. Like, yeah, it's a subtle flex that I'm in this cool new city, but also it somehow captures just the right amount of poetic yearning. I don't know, maybe it's the way it's phrased in Chinese. It gave me the vibe of I'm having the time of my life traveling, yet I still miss you. If someone said this to me, I would fold so fast. And I would have fallen for this cute little street sign if I didn't see the exact same thing in Chongqing, then in Yunnan, then in basically every other Chinese city I went to. Turns out it wasn't just me swooning over this phrase and the little city flex. I'm just like every other Chinese person because this street sign went viral ages ago and every city council picked up on it, realized people are basically advertising tourism in the city for free when they take a picture of this sign and share it, and started doing it too. Another thing I found amusing was this: the construction of a Raziya resort in Hebei province near Beijing. The developers of this resort wanted to capture a vibe of isolation and loneliness, so they created the Lonely Library, a two-story brutalist structure that sits alone on the beach with its main windows facing the ocean. Honestly, the way I'd eat this up. This is so much my vibe. And again, apparently everyone else's, because the Lonely Library went viral on Chinese social media and Raziya became a huge tourist daka destination. To cope with the influx of tourists that came to see it, multiple Lonely Libraries were constructed by the beach. And I get it, I am just like everyone else with my basic ass taste, but doesn't it start to feel a bit ironic when you have 10 buildings side by side all trying to be lonely? Why am I pretending to be British? City officials recognize how powerful daka culture is in driving massive waves of tourism to their cities. So this culture has created a very fascinating economic cycle that's closely linked with the phenomenon of Wanghong urbanism. Step 1. An aesthetic place goes viral, like a train station that passes through an apartment or a lonely library. Step 2. People go visit and daka, and it's shared enough that it becomes a staple part of the trip itinerary. It's a must-visit location now. Step 3. Cities respond to this tourist influx, revamping sites and creating copycat locations so there's a greater supply to match this demand. Then finally, step 4 is every other city in China copying what works. All of this is done so tourists can visit less popular areas and still be able to get crowd favorite shots to wow their friends, family, or audience online. Now, how do Chinese people feel about this? Overall, Chinese people are pretty split on daka tourism. A survey done by China Youth Daily showed that out of 2,000 respondents, 80% said the people around them love daka tourism. 57% personally held a negative opinion, as they thought daka was mainly about getting other people's attention and it offered a narrow, repetitive experience. 42% held a positive opinion of daka traveling, as allowed them to see as many attractions as possible within a limited time. The style of daka tourism is not for everyone. For people like Taiyang, a travel blogger, she says she prefers moving at a slower pace, so she can really take in the scenery and get to know the local culture. She compares daka tourism to fast food. It's quick and efficient but lacks actual substance. Others who like daka tourism say they're grateful for all these hyper-efficient itineraries that have been built so they can make the most out of their traveling experience. The daka enjoyers are mostly students who are poor or working professionals who are time poor. Either way, they don't care about being physically exhausted. They just want to make sure they land in Rome and conquer Rome. In the end, traveling is all about having a good time, and that means different things for different people. Whether you get joy out of checking in to multiple spots or taking your time and exploring each location, as long as you feel like you had a great holiday, that's all that matters. Actually, I lied. One more thing really matters, and that's you subscribing, please. A huge thank you to my patrons as well. I appreciate your support so much as always. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!